All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Nykamp, and we're going to be doing a tutorial today on graphing inequalities. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what I want you to do is to pause the video and get out a piece of paper to take some notes on for today. I'm expecting you to bring that piece of paper to class with you, and you'll have a couple examples on it at the end as well. So the first thing I want to cover before we move on is a bit of vocabulary. First of all, there are what we call open sentences in math. And you can read the definition with me here. It says an open sentence is a sentence containing one or more variables. It can be true or false depending on what a number is substituted for in the variable. And so far this year, we've been doing open sentences that are equations. And we've looked at variables, but we've always had an equal sign in our equation. It's not always the case in math that we have equations that are equal to each other. Sometimes we have what are called inequalities. And an inequality is a sentence that has one or more of the following symbols. And we have these symbols here at the bottom, and you've probably seen these before. And I'm going to go over quickly on the next slide what each of these stand for. So here are the symbols from the previous slide. I've written them down on this slide here. And you've probably seen these symbols before. This one is called the less than symbol. And this one is called the less than or equal to symbol. And I'm not sure if you've seen that one before, this less than or equal to. This one's called the greater than. This one is greater than or equal to. Or equal to. And this one is called not equal to. I'm also not sure if you've seen the greater than or equal to symbol. Usually we use those only with algebraic expressions, and I'll explain how that works in a minute. The other three, my guess is you've seen before: the less than, the greater than, and the not equal to. Typically, you've used those symbols in sentences before when comparing integers. So if I have something like the numbers 5 and 8, you would have to decide what symbol to put in there, and you would put a symbol like this. This is the less than symbol. You probably learned early on that maybe Pac-Man eats the larger number, or maybe an alligator eats the larger number, and so you would have that sort of thing there. But that is how you learn to use those symbols. Now the question that we need to answer is what happens when you have variables instead of numbers in these situations. How do you deal with that? And the way you actually deal with that is it's not a statement as much as these previous ones were. 5 is less than 8. That is a true statement. Instead, we're trying to figure out what the values are for x being less than 8. And we usually represent that on a number line. So on this slide here, we have two examples of inequality statements with a variable. Let's look at number 1 a moment. And you can see here, a is greater than or equal to -2. And the way we do this is we answer it with a number line, because there's so many numbers that make this statement true. We can start at -2 and we draw a circle. Now, notice this symbol says greater than or equal to. Because it's or equal to, what we would do is we would fill in that circle. And that is equal to -2 then. And then it's everything greater than or equal to -2. So what we do with a number line is we kind of shade in this part of the number line here, indicating that every number to the right of -2 is a possible answer to this sentence. And so what you see here is the answer to A is greater than or equal to -2. Now, if we look at number 3 here, you will see that the sentence is a little different. First of all, the variable is different, which doesn't make a difference in this case. But this sentence says that M is greater than -2. This time it's not greater than or equal to. So we do the same thing, except this time, since -2 is not included, we leave this circle open. And we shade everything to the right, because that is what is greater than -2. And we would do an answer like that. So this graph right here is the answer to M is greater than or equal to -2. So let's talk through a couple other examples real quick. Let's look at this number 2 here, where X is greater than 1. We start at the 1, we put a circle. We have to decide whether or not to shade that circle in. Since it's just greater than, we do not shade it in. If it was greater than or equal to, we would. But in this case, we do not. So then I am going to shade in everything to the right, because those are all the numbers that are greater than 1. And this would be my answer to this sentence. If we look at number 4, B is less than or equal to -6. And so we're going to start with -6 here. Looking at the symbol again, notice that it does include -6 because it's less than or equal to. Since it's less than, we're going to shade this way, because these are numbers less than -6. Always to the left on a number line is numbers less than that number. Okay, this problem I would like you to write out the number line that you see in front of you, and I would like you to try to answer this one before I give you the solution. So pause the video and write the number line down and try to write the correct answer. Try to write the correct answer. Okay, if you haven't paused the video, really pause it, please. Pause the video. I mean it. Pause the video and try it on your own. All right, we're going to go over the solution now. This sentence here states that A is greater than or equal to -5. And so we're going to start at -5 and we're going to draw a circle. In this case, we are going to shade the circle because it's greater than or equal to, and that includes -5. Then we are going to shade everything on top of the number line, or actually on the number line, to the right. And this number line here represents the answers to our sentence. Everything to the right of -5 is greater than, and it's shaded in because it also includes the -5. Okay, here's another problem for you. I'd like you to pause the video and write down the number line and write the answer for this sentence, that X is greater than or equal to 4. All right, did you pause the video? I hope so, because I'm going to go over the answer now. The answer to this one, we start at 4 for this particular problem, right there. And it says X is greater than, so we would shade this side, but it's also equal to. So hopefully you realize you had to fill in that dot right there. So this is the solution to X is greater than or equal to 4. All right, this is the end here, guys. I'm leaving you with this problem. I'd like you to write it down on your paper. M is less than -1. And then I would like you to draw a number line and shade everything incorrectly, showing me the answers that are possible for this sentence. And we will check on this at class tomorrow, so I'll see you tomorrow.